Right. So, hi guys, welcome to Casey's online journey. So tonight we have a very special guest. He's one of my connections on LinkedIn. His name is Joe Gannon. So, hello, Joe. Welcome.
Hi Karen, how's it going?
It's going well. How are you?
I'm very good, thank you. It's very
Mhm.
nice to chat to you for the second time. We had technical difficulties the
Yes,
first time.
for the second time. But I know, yeah, today is gonna be worth it.
Definitely will be. And I know
Yeah,
the questions now, so
yeah.
it's a win-win.
Okay. So thank you so much, Joe, for taking your time to be with me in this interview. So Joe is from the UK and he's a psychology graduate who is passionate about social media strategy. So Joe, can you tell us more about you?
Yeah, definitely. So I did a psychology degree, and
Mm-hmm.
with hindsight, I now know how I kind of bridge psychology and marketing. So essentially, psychology is all about understanding people, and that is exactly what marketing is as well. So
Mm-hmm.
at university, I didn't really go down the conventional route with psychology, going into like a psychology role, being a clinical psychologist or a sports psychologist or anything like that. Was more interested in marketing and in particular social media marketing. So
Mm-hmm.
for as long as I can remember, I've always been on social media platforms, but interested in how all of a sudden all my friends are using a new platform or there's a new platform on the blogs. Obviously, nowadays it's TikTok is the kind of latest platform. And
Mm-hmm.
I've always just kind of been fascinated with how new platforms come into play and the opportunities that they bring with them. So if you could be an early adopter on any platform, there's just
Mm-hmm.
so much attention and opportunity. And I kind of was interested in that. And then my first job out of university was working for Cambridge University in their social media team. And again, I was working on the strategy side of things. So how can we create content on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram?
Mm-hmm.
How our content is different on different platforms and how we can optimize the content. And yeah, like you said, the kind of strategy behind content is what I'm interested in. And now I'm
Mm-hmm.
trying to create more content on my own. So on LinkedIn, because there's so much
Mm-hmm.
opportunity on LinkedIn, as you know,
Yes.
and also on YouTube as well.
Okay, so tonight our topic will be about creating content strategy for LinkedIn and YouTube. So, can you tell us how to generate ideas in creating good content and how to turn these ideas into content?
Definitely. So
Mm-hmm.
I don't think people necessarily have a reason or a problem. So I don't think people have a problem with actually having ideas. I think we all have so many ideas,
Mm-hmm.
and it's actually more about capturing those ideas. So throughout the week, you might be listening to a podcast, you might have had a chat with a friend, and you're going to have
Mm-hmm.
ideas, but we don't all just capture ideas in one place. We'll trust our short-term memory. We think that we're going to remember the ideas. When it comes down to creating content, it just doesn't usually happen. So one of my
Mm-hmm.
favorite quotes on this by David Allen, the author of Getting Things Done, is your mind is for having ideas, not for storing them. So whenever your ideas come throughout the week, you've watched a YouTube video, listened to a podcast, store those ideas, put them into a place you trust. And I think
Mm-hmm.
that's kind of my approach to content marketing is if you can increase your input, then you can increase your output. So if you
Cool.
have all
Mm-hmm.
your ideas in one place, you then have that as a kind of resource, as a backlog of
Mm-hmm.
content to then start creating content
Mm-hmm.
from. So to have
Okay.
more ideas, I think you just need to surround yourself with maybe people in the industry or the industry you're creating content in
Mm-hmm.
the podcasts and the books, have more interesting conversations. And if you can become a more interesting person, you're going to be creating more interesting stuff.
Cool. Yes, it is definitely. Okay, so what type of content should we post?
Great question.
Mm.
I am a strong believer that we should all kind of just share our thoughts and experiences. So,
Mm.
like in that question, a lot of people would perhaps feel that they aren't in a position to create content or to put themselves out there. But the truth
Mm-hmm.
is, we all have unique ideas, unique perspectives. Everyone's career path or journey is completely different. So, in terms of what content to post, if you're a new creator, I would suggest that you just start documenting what you do. So
Mm.
document, don't create is one of Gary
Mm.
Vaynerchuk's like favorite quotes, and it's just so true. You are probably doing things right now that you could document. If you're having a conversation like this, if you're having a chat with a friend, if you're in the office collaborating with your team and thinking of new ideas, brainstorming a strategy, why not create something from that? Kind of lift the lid
Mm-hmm.
and be transparent with what you're doing. So you can create content from anything. Just share what you're doing. Share
Mm-hmm.
your five favorite takeaways from a book you've just read. And the more you
Mm.
do that, you just break down the fear of putting yourself out there. And if you just have that mentality that if you could just help one person, then it's always
Mm.
going to be worth it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's very kind of easy to achieve that. If you read a book and share your main takeaways, that saves someone reading the whole book, and one person might get value out of that. And if you just look to impress one person, to help one person, that is enough to put yourself out there.
Yeah. Right. Okay. So okay, this one. So what's the difference between a content creator and a content curator? Okay.
Yes. So as you know,
Mhm.
I didn't know the difference myself. So yeah, I thought curator was someone saying creator with a funny accent. So essentially, content creation is when you create something essentially from scratch. So it doesn't have to be your like groundbreaking new business idea or anything like that. It can just be you've taken inspiration from different things, different resources, different people, and then you just kind of bring something to the table, which is you just add your own kind of like layer of perspective or opinion on it. So content
Mm,
creation is just creating something from an idea you've had or a thought. So that could be creating a photo, like a media asset, could be creating a video, could be creating
mm,
a text bit of content with like a quote, but then with your like thoughts on that quote. And that's
mhm,
unique. That's creating something that somebody else has not brought to the table. That's what you've brought to the table. Content creation is more like curating and just sharing different resources and bringing that to your audience. So if you know your audience are interested in productivity, you could be
mm,
sharing directly with them blog articles that you come across about productivity, and that would be curating because you're taking the knowledge from elsewhere and then you're providing it to people. And that's
mhm,
a really useful perspective as well, because you can essentially be known as like a go-to person for interesting things. It can save
mm,
people a lot of time. They don't have to go and look for that information themselves. They know that if they follow you, that you're always going to be sharing interesting things that you come across. So
mhm,
that's kind of curation and curation. I think if you're a
mm,
new content creator, then you should
mm.
probably start with curation
Creation. Yeah.
because it's essentially just sharing the stuff you come across is just such an
Mm,
easier way of going. And then once you get that confidence, you can feel more willing to add your own kind of perspective on top of it.
mhm. Okay. So how are we going to create a high quality, consistent content?
So it's,
Okay.
yeah, so a lot of people I think do struggle with the consistency part of
Yeah.
creating content. They'll
True.
show up and they'll post a video, and there is so many aspects, especially with video marketing. You
Mm,
post a video, you got to think about the caption, you got to think about the copy, you got to subtitle it. There's so many aspects which put people off, and it can be time consuming. So I think with consistency, you just need to outline first, take a step back and just outline how realistic posting frequency is. So it might be
mm,
once a week just to start. Can you post once a week, and can you just maintain that for a few months? And that can be your level of consistency. And then over time, once you
mm,
get used to it, then you start ramping up the posting frequency. So, but to achieve that, like as kind of mentioned earlier, it's just having a system. So
mm,
the kind of the way I've been able to be more successful in content marketing and to really create more content, and then once
mm,
you're creating that level of post frequency, you can then increase the quality. So if you can get the quantity first, then you could just marginally increase the quality. It's just having a
mm.
system for it. So I kind of break it down into the different steps. So the first thing is capturing your ideas, like I said before. So
Okay.
throughout the week, whether that's using the notes app on your phone, whether that's on your laptop, whether that's
Mm,
in a Word document, whatever that is, or like a tool like Notion or Trello, just capturing your ideas throughout the week, then having a separate time where you take those ideas and you kind of expand your thoughts into it. So it almost becomes like a first draft. And in that
mm,
first draft, if you're writing like an article or just a copy of a post, just give yourself permission to not have the perfect finished article here. Just
mm,
get stuck in straight away. Just start writing. Don't think about making it perfect. And it's
mhm,
another way to be consistent because you just kind of take the pressure off yourself. And then after that, when you're kind of in a writing mood, you might have 5 to 10 ideas. You can just expand, and then you can start making posts from those. And then have another time where you jump in, you optimize the content, and then
mhm.
another time where you schedule. So just breaking it down into capturing your ideas, kind of padding those
Capturing.
ideas out, making first drafts, then making like full drafts. Because I think the most common thing people do is it'll be Monday morning. They know they have to get a bit of content out. They struggle to think of
Oh,
an idea. They're not really in the mood for writing, so that the thoughts aren't
mm,
flowing naturally. And it all just takes too much time. So when you can start to just batch, break down the process into separate tasks and then batch it,
mm.
so much more efficient. And you will naturally find with that, if you focus on your process, the consistency of your content marketing it'll just fall into place.
Okay. Right. Cool. So speaking of optimizing, so what are the ways to optimize, especially the LinkedIn content? So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Mm-hmm.
to optimize your LinkedIn content, you kind of, if you take everyone to take a step back and realize what the platform is trying to
mm,
achieve. So LinkedIn is more of a professional platform. So content is slightly more professional just in the sense of how it looks. So with hashtags, for example, hashtags are at the end of a post, and LinkedIn suggests to use 3 hashtags, and you should use them at the end of the post. It's different to perhaps Twitter, where you might say, hi, everybody, if you're interested in hashtag marketing, I'm going to talk to you today about hashtag strategy, and you kind of litter the hashtags in the copy. It just doesn't look professional on LinkedIn. So always use your hashtags at the bottom of the post. Then there's kind of really like meta and detailed. It's quite meta to think about this, but the spacing you have with your content. So with LinkedIn content, when you go to upload a text bit of content, you actually have 5 lines of spacing before it says see more.
Okay.
And then with video content, images and carousels, you have 3 lines. So this might seem like a small detail, but this is the kind of window that you have to capture someone's attention. And that's essentially what marketing is. It's how can you know, anyone could do anything in this moment of time. They're scrolling through their social media. Why should they click and consume your video, read your article? They don't owe it to you, so you have to capture their attention. So realizing the spacing you have available, and that's different across all platforms. So for LinkedIn, that's the kind of the spaces you have. So to optimize your content, I would always kind of suggest that you are capturing attention maybe with a title at the start, and then you kind of include your main message, or you just pique someone's interest and give them enough of the value from the content for them to click see more, to then stay on the content, and that's really important.
All right. So does emoji also works for that, for optimizing?
Yeah. So all my LinkedIn content usually has an emoji in there, because essentially with text content, we don't have much to play with. It's either going to be capital letters and like an emoji.
Yeah.
You know, we can all kind of copy. We can all look at someone's way of writing and essentially copy that. So you have to look at your kind of the ways you can differentiate your content and become known for like a certain style. So if someone's just scrolling through, they instantly know it's your content. So like guys, I've said before, like your profile is great with that. You've got your profile image, you've got your headline. You clearly have like optimized your profile. So if I'm scrolling through the feed, I know that that's like Karen's content straight away. And that's what you need to do. You need to think about the space you have available on the platform. So if your image, your headline, how much lines you have in the first kind of spaces of the post, because people are just scrolling past. All you need to do is consider your own behaviors online and on social media. You'll just scroll past people's content. It might look great, but you just go straight past it. So you have to think about that from your audience's perspective.
Yeah, that's true. Okay. So how to repurpose LinkedIn video content into text posts?
Yeah. So like you said about processes and how to be consistent. One way to increase your posting frequency and to be more consistent is to just look at the content you've already created. So whether that's going into LinkedIn or any platform and just scrolling through your own feed and just looking at what you've already posted and taking new ideas from that. You know, sometimes if you created a post and 2 months have passed, you might have new followers who haven't seen that bit of information. So you still can jump back in and repurpose posts. And to answer your question directly, how to repurpose video content.
Yes.
So conversations like this, podcasts, long form videos are essentially pillar content. So if you focus on pillar content, that is long form pieces of content which you can then create. They take slightly longer, but what you can do then is you can repurpose them. So if you have a 10 to 15 minute video conversation, you can strip the audio and that can be a podcast. Or you can then break up that 15-minute video into perhaps 10 90-second clips. That's the maths. Yep, that is right. Just think about the maths there. 10 short video clips. And then what you can do with the video clips is you can then have those video clips. You can actually take the audio and transcribe it. There's suggestions like rev.com and Subly, so getsubly.com. Really simple, really cost-effective ways of taking a video, taking the words you're already saying and transcribing them for text. And then you've got your text posts. Because if you saw a video in your feed, you're not going to necessarily remember the words they said because you heard them. So you can literally, with any video clip you do, you can also have a text post and upload that in a month, 2 months' time. And the content will still feel fresh and the message will still be fresh. So that's what I definitely recommend. Just focus on pillar content. If video is not for you, then write long form blog articles and chop those up into short text posts as well.
Okay, all right. So can you tell us more about creating a carousel for LinkedIn content? Just like yours.
To plug my YouTube channel. So I've somehow, if you type in LinkedIn carousel, hopefully my video comes up. And carousels are essentially just documents, just like PowerPoints, which you can scroll through. So if you've been on Facebook or Instagram, you might see carousel ads, which is just essentially just a gallery of images. It'll be one image, you scroll past to get to the next images. So creating a carousel document on LinkedIn is a great strategy, I feel, because they're underutilized content. People don't post them much. Text is the easiest content to post.
Yeah.
People do
Oh, yeah.
text.
True.
Then naturally people just add an image to the text. That's quite easy to do as well. Video is harder. But videos and carousels have added benefits, which I'll talk about in a second. But a carousel document, you can essentially just jump into PowerPoint or to Keynote on your Mac or into Canva, set the grid as a 1080 by 1080 grid, and essentially just put lots of information in a nice design, which you can use a template for, and just export that as a PDF. And you can upload that onto LinkedIn. So that's how you create them. And carousels are brilliant because when you're scrolling through a bit of content, naturally we just kind of scroll through, and if it piques our interest, we'll scroll like along into the document. And obviously you can portray so much more information in an image. So if you've got images, you've got lots of information here, like an infographic, maybe your 10 productivity tips or your 10 tips for content marketing. You just get so much more information conveyed. And carousels and videos are really important because LinkedIn in particular have just changed their algorithm. So the algorithm is more interested in dwell time, which is how long somebody stays on your post. So if you're posting a video which is 2 minutes and somebody watches for 30 seconds, that is signaling to LinkedIn that content is high quality because you're actually staying on that post. And the carousel is the same. If someone's scrolling through the content, you're keeping them there. And that's a huge, like one of the largest reasons why videos and carousels get a lot of engagement, because you could literally come across a text post and just swipe off, yet it would still count as a view.
Okay. All right. Oh, now I know. Okay. So I want to know more about hashtags. What are the benefits, the purpose, and strategies, and what type of hashtags, the right hashtags to use in our posts?
Yeah, so hashtag strategies are always going to change with where our platform's at. So if we're focusing on LinkedIn right now, only 1 to 2% of people actually create content on LinkedIn. So in comparison to other platforms, like for example, Instagram, most people probably post on Instagram once a week. Like even across ages, most people are willing to share on Instagram, for example, and other platforms as well, like Twitter or Facebook. On LinkedIn right now, there's a kind of a lot of lurkers. So only about 1 to 2% of people are creating content. It's only just becoming a content platform. And so with hashtags, there's, in comparison to other platforms, there's just not as much content out there in comparison, like when you compare the two. So with LinkedIn suggests to focus on 3 hashtags, and I'd always just suggest that you focus on large hashtags. So if you're creating content about LinkedIn, you might want to use content marketing, you want to use LinkedIn marketing as hashtags. If you're doing productivity tips, then you might want to use just productivity as a hashtag and not necessarily like the niche hashtags of productivity tips and hacks, because not enough people right now are searching for hashtags. So with hashtags, it's all about search volume and competition. So if a hashtag has high search volume, then you're going to have a greater benefit from using it because more people can stumble across the content. But equally, you've got to consider competition because a lot of people might be searching for large hashtags, but if there's just so much content out there, your content won't be seen. So that's when you would kind of focus on niche hashtags. So for example, on Instagram, it's best to use niche hashtags because there's just so much content going out there. You would never ever rank for hashtag productivity unless you have an established platform. So you would be looking at productivity tips, productivity hacks, productivity tips for students. You'd go really niche. But with LinkedIn right now, it's just best to kind of focus on the big and broad hashtags. So potentially 2 large hashtags and then 1 niche hashtag, which could be more specialized and kind of deeper.
Okay. So I saw your post that you posted there the trending hashtags on LinkedIn is different from other platforms. Can you share more about that? Okay.
Yeah, so if anyone's been on LinkedIn, you've created content, chances are you have had that notification pop up. I think for right now for LinkedIn, you get a notification saying you're trending. Essentially, I believe to encourage you to continue posting. Because on Twitter, for example, trending is the trending hashtags, the trending keywords like around the world or in your country. And that's obviously a great thing because if you look into Twitter on the homepage, it will have the trending like hashtags and they're quite prominent on the platform. It's all about conversation. It's all about real-time conversation. And if you were trending on Twitter, for example, you would actually see great exposure for your brand or for whatever you're doing. On LinkedIn right now, it's not really like that as such. I think it's more of an encouragement for people to post. It's still a great thing because when you do trend, and all trending means on LinkedIn is essentially a post you created using a certain hashtag. So say I used hashtag business. If I was trending in business, it means that my post is performing above average in out of all the posts that use hashtag business, which is still a great thing. And typically after posting content, you might see about 2 days afterwards or a day after, you'll get a notification saying, congratulations, congratulations, your post is trending in business. The benefits of this is that the notification goes to your network. So if you are, for example, if you have a virtual assistant business, if you're a virtual assistant, it might look great for your whole network to be like pinged a notification saying you're trending as a virtual assistant. It's great positioning. But right now on LinkedIn, I'd say focus on the big hashtags. And if you're trending, it's probably good for positioning purposes. And your post might get a slight increase in engagement because people who are looking for that sort of content are searching for it and come across it. So there are benefits. It's just not as like life-changing as potentially if you're trending on other platforms where it's a large part of the platform.
So it's just a motivation to post more.
Yeah, I personally think they're trying to get more people to stay on the platform right now because not everyone has realized it's kind of becoming a content platform. So I think it's like a nice feeling. It does make you feel good.
It is.
Yeah, I know when I got my it started happening to me, it felt good about it, and it's good to see your posts being repurposed and shown to new people. But I do think it's kind of an encouragement thing.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So now I know. All right. So what are some ways to increase our engagement on our content?
Great question. I think everyone wonders this.
Yes.
I mean, even at the moment, I'm asking myself this question because I try and batch my content. I try and create content in batches, then I have like 2 to 3 weeks of content to do. And I'm just got to my stage where all my content's kind of gone and I need to create more. So I'm thinking this as well. How can you increase your engagement on LinkedIn?
Yes.
No matter how large your profile is, you need to know how to do that because essentially you're creating content for an audience. And to fulfill that purpose of providing value to your audience, you need a large indicator is the engagement it gets. So how to increase your engagement? On LinkedIn right now, the way the platform is, if you get comments, that means that your post is shown to that person's audience. So if I comment on someone's post, my audience will then start to see that post in their feed because it will say like Joe Gannon liked this post or Joe Gannon commented on this post. And that's the mechanism for organic reach right now on LinkedIn. So if you receive comments on your posts are shown to more people. And that's how your content can really go far. Because if lots of people are on your content, they're commenting, they're spending time on it, LinkedIn will show it to more people. So probably the best way to increase your engagement is to optimize your content to receive comments. So a really simple way of doing that is to ask questions. So if you're making a statement, if you're talking about a topic, at the end, just say, a lot of people do this and it's very simple because it works. Do you agree with this? Is there anything you guys would add? Let me know in the comment section, because people do need to be told what to do. So someone might read a post and at the end of it, they've really enjoyed it. And if you're welcoming them to add to the discussion, they will add questions at the end of your content. When you're writing a post at the end, just always stop and just think like, what is the main message of this post, and review your content and just see like, can you be more concise? Can you make it more about the person reading it and less about you? Because I think naturally we all kind of write content. It's all about like, I did this today. I learned this, and sometimes it's more useful to just like flip it and think about the person reading it. So you might learn from this experience. Here are my 5 kind of tips. What do you think of this? What would you add? It's just a better approach right now. And also as well, just to be more proactive with being a part of the community on the platform. And if you're engaging yourself, it's just going to reciprocate and people will start to engage with your posts. So I do recommend every week, if you can, every day, 10 to 15 minutes.
Okay.
If you can, if you have the time.
10 to 15 minutes. Okay.
Just in your feed, just don't hold back and liking and commenting on people's posts, especially commenting, because commenting has the best benefits for you. So if you're leaving comments on other people's posts, they'll start to do it back and they'll also appreciate that you've done it for them. So whenever you come across good content, just leave your thoughts and your opinions, because other people will see that and they're still being active on the platform and it all will reciprocate. So if you're engaging with other people and you're building up a network of people who do spend time on the platform daily, you're
Mm-hmm.
going to have more of an engaged audience because it's full of people who engage. If you're just connecting with people who don't really post, if you're connecting with people who aren't active, they're not really going to be engaging with content. They might see it, but they're not going to engage. And right now, because if you do receive engagement, it shows it to more people. You
Mm.
need to have a plan for this.
Okay. So does mentioning or tagging someone on the post or the comment also works?
Yeah, so I
Oh.
think try not. I would probably suggest to not. Well, it depends what your post is. Like,
Mm.
I would always consider. Like, I wouldn't just say have a list of 20 people who at the end of a post you just always
Uh.
tag. I would think about what the post is and think about who in your network or who you know that is relevant for. So
Mm.
if you know that someone could add uh, additional discussion to the post, even if you know someone who you're interested in their thoughts, you generally are,
Mm.
then tag them and personalize it. Say, look, like these are my five tips. I know you've got more experience with me. What do you think? And that's how you can just learn as well. Like if you strip that
Mm.
back, you're learning from people. You're asking questions and you're encouraging
Mm.
people to share their opinion, which people are always happy to do.
Mm.
It's a compliment if someone said to you like, oh, I've just written a post and I'd love to hear your own thoughts
Uh.
because I know this is your area of expertise. People will obviously do that. So I would definitely say there's benefits because you can encourage comments. I would just always make sure it's relevant.
Mm. Okay. All right. Now I know. All right. So can you tell me more about how the algorithm works, especially on LinkedIn?
Yeah. So the LinkedIn
Mm.
algorithm is a funny old thing. And it's always changing as well. They've
Mm.
recently, like I said, with the dwell time, if you type into Google LinkedIn engineering blog, there's an article about dwell time.
Mm.
And so essentially the LinkedIn algorithm is a machine, which all
Oh.
algorithms are obviously across all platforms. But it is important to realize that because when you post a bit of content, you might think it's the best piece of content in the world. But it's not a
Mm.
human, the other side, who reads it and evaluates whether it's good content. It's a machine. There are certain boxes that we have to tick for our
Mm.
content to be rated as high quality and to be shown to more people. Because all algorithms are geared towards showing people the content they want to see and showing people content that the platform believes is high quality. And if we take YouTube as an example, when you search for a video, you search for a tutorial, it's in YouTube's best interest to show you the most relevant video. Because if you get your answer, you're going to be spending more time on YouTube. You're going to be then exposed to more ads and YouTube will
Mm.
make more money. And LinkedIn is exactly the same. So LinkedIn want people to spend more time on the platform, to have exposure to ads so they get more money, and also
Mm.
to encourage more people to come onto the platform because people will shout out about loving the platform and they'll tell their
Mm.
friends and their family and more people will start to join. So the algorithm, there's certain things you need to kind of achieve for your content to be seen as high quality. So
High quality.
early engagement is really important on your posts. So if you are
Mm.
getting early likes and comments on your content, it's an indication to LinkedIn that, for example, say they've shown it to 10 people and
Mm.
half of those have left a like and a comment. It's then going to want to show it to more people because it's had like an early indicator that the content's good.
Mm.
And
All
then
right.
also, so like I said, ask people questions, post at optimal times, figure out the best times to post to your audience. Because if
Uh-huh.
you have more people in the first like 1 to 2 hours of your content going out, if more people are likely have a higher chance to see it, there's
Mm.
a higher chance you get likes and comments. So think about optimal time to post. And in the first 1 to 2 hours as well, where LinkedIn is really kind of evaluating your content,
Mm-hmm.
always get back to people. So if you have received a comment on your post, do think about replying to that person, ask a question back, see if you can continue the conversation,
Oh.
because that will keep people on your post as well. And that's all just kind of signals to LinkedIn. So I kind of see it as like touch points. So if you've
Oh,
posted a
okay.
piece of content, if you can throughout the day have people
Mm.
dropping in and leaving their thoughts and you're getting back to them, you're keeping that bit of content active for as long as possible. And that's just a signal to the platform that it should show it to more people because people are enjoying it. And then, like we
Mm.
said about dwell time, so the algorithm, so LinkedIn were figuring out what's a good measure of quality of posts, and they came up with how long someone stays in the post is an indicator for quality. So, like I said, if you can keep people on your post, if you can ask them questions, if you can genuinely provide value, and I like to call it like going above and beyond. So, if you have that mentality that you talk about a podcast and you talk about your findings from that podcast, have the link to hand, have the link, share the link to people in the comments, because at the end of your post, if they've enjoyed that, chances are they're going to want to actually figure out, to learn more from the source. Have those information to hand, because you can create a really good feeling if you go above and beyond for your audience. If you're offering resources, additional resources, if you're kind of creating freebies for them, they're always going to have like a reason to come back to your future content, and they'll be checking in on your profile for more value like that.
Okay. So I also like to know, is it better to put in the link on the post or just on the comment?
Yeah. So right now, if you do include a link in a post, it does kill the reach. So essentially, LinkedIn want to keep people on the platform. It's their main goal. So if you've just uploaded a YouTube video and you upload that link directly, you're sending people away from LinkedIn. You're sending them to YouTube. So it's really important with these sort of things to just put yourself in the LinkedIn's shoes. I know it's not a person, but their goal is to keep you on the platform. So it makes a lot of sense. It's the same for Facebook. If you send people away from the platform, your content won't perform as well. So there is a trick right now, which is a guy on LinkedIn called John Esperian, who's a great guy to follow. And he kind of brought this trick to my attention. So if you do upload a post and you edit if you upload a post, you haven't included the link, and then you jump in and you edit the post, you can then add the link and your post won't really be affected by reach. So that's kind of a good workaround. It's not ideal, obviously, because you have to jump back in, but it kind of suggests that the algorithm essentially, once you post the content, there's like checks that the platform looks at, the algorithm looks at. So it probably looks like, does it have a link? Does it not have a link? So when you jump in and you edit again, that it doesn't go through this review process again. So if you don't want to do that, then it is good to just add the link in the comments, but just make sure you tell people that it's there if they want it. If someone enjoyed the post, they will actually actively look for the comment. But if you're getting 10, 20 comments, it's maybe not ideal for them. So potentially you want to jump in and edit the post and add the link in there.
Okay. Now I know.
I think you knew this already, though.
Yeah.
You know all this already.
All right. So I also like to know, since LinkedIn is different, the algorithm is different from LinkedIn. So how about on YouTube? The algorithm on YouTube. Yeah. How it works.
So I've been dabbling my toes in YouTube. So I still am learning about YouTube. I think it's quite similar in terms of early engagement. So once you upload a video, it's best practice to kind of promote that video and to send traffic to the platform, because if you upload a video onto YouTube, but maybe you don't have many subscribers, your video isn't always going to, it's not going to be the first video that YouTube suggests for people. Because YouTube's a search engine. YouTube is the second largest search engine in the world, and the first search engine is Google, who now own YouTube. So YouTube's different in the sense that someone types in the content they want to see or the answer they want to find, and YouTube does its best job to show them the content. So if you're an established YouTube creator with 1 million subscribers, you've already kind of proven to the platform that you provide value and you answer people's questions. So your content will always kind of be favored by the algorithm. So once you're a new creator, you do need to think about early engagement. So if you upload a YouTube video, you do need to kind of maybe make short video clips for Facebook, for Instagram, for Twitter, for LinkedIn, and tell people, here's a 1 minute snippet. If you want the full interview, the full video, check out YouTube. And then you'd kind of add that in the comment section, like we said, or you'd edit the post and give them the YouTube link as well. So yeah, early engagement, again, is important. Getting early likes and comments on any platform is an indicator of the quality.
Okay. Right. So can you also share some tips? Because here in the Philippines, it's actually the people here, especially on YouTube, they are just really want that they're gonna reach 1K subscribers so they can monetize it. But the problem is the content itself. So the content is not really substantial. So can you share some tips? Because because for me, really, content is really the key, right? So I really want to let them know that it is really valuable to have to create a value added content to our videos. So can you share and can you advise them for that?
Of course, yes. So
Okay.
I think if you're creating any content, it should be
Mm,
about creating value, because that's the main reason why people come back to your profile. So you
mm,
can do the greatest promotional push like for one video that you've done, but you want people to be coming back. You want people to be binging your channel essentially. So the
mm,
favorite people I kind of subscribe to on YouTube, I binge their channel. I watch their video from start to end, and I look for more. And if you can have someone be doing that on your channel, they definitely will subscribe because they know they get value. They'll be looking for
mm.
your next video.
True.
So you have to focus on value. So what I personally love about YouTube is the best creators just go all out. So it
Mm,
on other social media platforms, you might give a suggestion to someone and you just leave it at that. On YouTube, if you have the mindset of, I think you should do this, I'm going
mm,
to show you how I would do it. I'm going to give you a tutorial. I'm
mm,
then going to give you some resources in this in the description box on how you can do the same. Maybe a
mm,
template if I've just designed something, and you
mm,
essentially help someone from start to finish. And I think
mm.
that's that value based approach is just so more beneficial for your audience. And
Yes.
if you can have someone watching you for 10 minutes, they've learned about you, they've learned about your personality, they've learned
Mm,
so much about your expertise, who you are. They're going to essentially be a fan. You can convert fans so much more easier if people are consuming long form content. If you've got a podcast, if you're doing videos like this,
mm,
uh, you can get so much information from someone and you can go away and implement. And if you're
mm,
starting to get results, you would credit those results to that person. So I
mm.
definitely recommend to your audience to focus on value based content. It has to
Yes.
be creating value.
Yes.
And I would
True.
strongly recommend that once you've created something, you just have a think about articles or other videos that you could also
Mm,
include for them to learn more.
yeah.
Because the benefits for you is that they will credit learning to you. They know that you were part of their journey learning that. And especially with YouTube,
Mm,
like you said about in terms of substance,
mm.
YouTube's different because your content essentially stays
Yeah.
posted. It could be
True.
found 2, 3, 5 years later. Whereas
Mm,
with social media content and short form content, it might have a shelf life of a day or two.
mm.
So you can be more fast and quick and just kind of focus on quality as well, but quantity. Just you need to be posting content.
Yes.
With YouTube, you should definitely think about how you can make it a video which is evergreen. So evergreen content is content that kind of stands the test of time. So if it's so weird to think about that, you might do a YouTube video, you might post this on YouTube today. In a year's time, someone around the world might come across it. And if you
Mm,
know that you kind of did that upfront work, took that investment to go above and beyond, to focus on value, to really ensure that anyone walks away with the result that you're kind of promising,
mm,
that you're going to have people subscribing to you, following you, sending you incredible messages saying that you've genuinely like had an
mm.
impact in their life. And what's more fulfilling than that? If you're doing that, you're going to create so much more stuff because you have like an intrinsic reason to do so.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So guys, please take note of this. Always create a value added content. Okay.
Yes, definitely.
All right. So can you share some strategies for getting noticed, especially on LinkedIn, and how to capture your audience attention?
Yeah, great. So
Mm,
on LinkedIn, if you're not sure about creating content yet, I would always suggest that you are commenting on people's content as well. So the
mm,
first thing I did was I must have commented on so many people's posts. If I came
mm,
across content which I actually got value from, I would send them a direct message. Okay, hi Karen, like I loved your post today. I really learned a lot. Like I'm looking forward to more content. Do things like that. So just be, I mean it as well. Like be sincere. Like send people direct messages, ask people questions, and on other people's content.
mm,
If on a post, there's a comment box below. You can see the comments from other people. So you need to remember that. So when you're kind of looking in your feed, you can position yourself in other people's feeds. So
mm,
if there's an influencer or a creator who's created a content and it's going really far, it's being seen by hundreds and thousands of people, for example, if you can be the top comment on that post, if you can add value, if you can write a paragraph which
mm,
maybe either agrees with it or doesn't agree with it, but just leaves your thoughts, your profile image, your headline, your comment are going to be under that video, which
mm,
is getting this traction. So that's one way to be noticed is to just put, and again, focus on value, focus on providing
mm,
input that you can. And if you're not too confident on posting yet, you should definitely just be engaging with other people because
mm,
your name and your profile will be then seen and then you'll start getting more views. So the more you do that, the more people that will see your profile and land on your profile. And if your profile is optimized, like we said about your image, your headline, then you're going to get more people following you as well.
True. Right. Okay. So, what are your advice, especially those who are new into creating content? So, for new content creators out there. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so my advice for new content creators is just to start as soon as you can. My only story about that is that I took almost like 1 to 2 years to even post anything myself. I was just in the sidelines, I was watching other people do it. I knew I could do it, but I had this like fear. I wasn't, because essentially putting yourself out there is just confidence. Like if we just break it down, what it is, it's just being confident behind a camera to record a video, or it's being confident in your thoughts and your ideas and how you articulate them to write a post. But there's no barrier to entry. Anyone can post on social media. It's completely accessible for everyone. And for that reason, everyone should, if they want to, feel that they should share their ideas and their thoughts. It's like we said about content curation. You might just start getting into the habit of just posting when you come across something that you enjoyed, and just break that fear muscle. Once you get over that feeling of being uncomfortable, the faster you can do that, then you can start to focus on quality. And yeah, I generally feel like if you sit on your phone and you go through people's content, there's nothing different between you and them. So if you're a new content creator, they're just further ahead than you. They got over the fear quicker than you, and they've just made more mistakes essentially, and they've learned from their mistakes. So it's essentially like, if this is something you want to do, and there are great benefits from creating content, there's collaborations, you can pull in opportunities. If you're creating content on LinkedIn, you can get job. My last job was from LinkedIn.
Congrats.
Thank you. In the last year, to be honest, I've probably had about 20 job kind of inquiries. Yeah, and that's not because I'm like great at what I do at all. It's not because of that. It's purely because I am probably one of the most active people at posting, maybe in my age as a marketer on LinkedIn, not across like platforms, but on LinkedIn, not many people are posting. So there's a great opportunity that, go for the low hanging fruit, put yourself out there on the platforms where it's more of like a free for all. Anyone can get attention and be visible. And if you're doing that, you can just pull in opportunities. So I've had people, just because I'm posting about marketing, give me opportunities. And that's genuinely not, it's just because I'm kind of being public facing. People know what I do because I'm telling them. So if you have a hobby or an interest which you want to accelerate, you want to do maybe as a career, or you just want to start doing more, you need to tell people that that's what you enjoy. And if you do that, like-minded people will start to drop in, and that's going to be really fulfilling. So I think really just breaking down the fear as quick as you can, not being a perfectionist. If you're thinking about doing the perfect video, then you're just going to delay it, which is what I did. Most of us have a laptop, you have a webcam on your laptop. Most of us have phones, you have a camera on your phone, you can create a video. So just start, and whether it's with your friends, your family, just start getting used to it, and then you're going to start to just expand and incrementally improve your content.
Right, so just start.
Just start. It sounds easy, but yeah.
Yes, you have to. Okay, all right. So I think that's it. I'm so once again blown away. So amazing! It's so amazing. And yes, so I hope you guys have learned a lot from Joe. And on the comments down below, so I'll put in there, or also in the description, all the social media pages of Joe. So please follow him on his social media sites so that you can learn more about content strategy, how to create content, stuff like that, because it's really, really helpful. Because yeah, it all boils down to creating a good, high quality, adding value content to all of our followers. So it's really, really good to have a very, it's not only for the quantity, but always look for the quality itself, right? All right.
Completely.
So, yes. So, Joe, thank you so much. And once again, I really learned a lot from you. And yeah, some of them are already, I am doing it. And I
Yes,
still
you
want
are.
to learn more, eager to learn more from you. So, thank you so much. And yeah, I'll see you around on LinkedIn.
See you around. Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you. Thank you.